Hello everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you all how to solve and simplify irrational square roots. It would be very helpful if you watched my exponents video first, but without further ado, let's get on straight into it. So first off, what is an irrational square root? An irrational square root is something like root 7 or root 5 or root 11. You just can't simplify it any further, and it's not a perfect square. And a perfect square is something like root 36. 6 times 6 is equal to 36, meaning two numbers multiply perfectly into that number. But not all numbers that at first may seem like the irrational square roots are irrational square roots. Because first things first, you always need to simplify them as much as possible. So root 75 can in fact be simplified, but how would I simplify it? So first things first, you're going to go ahead and see what number that's a perfect square can multiply to another number that may not be a perfect square that equal the original number. So for example, root 75. Well, that's 3 times 25, or root 3 times root 25. And root 25 is a perfect square, and that's 5. So you'll have 5 root 3, and you'll write it like this, 5 times root 3. So if I were to do 5 squared times the root 3, well then I would get 75. So that's why you should always simplify as much as possible so you get the most simplified version. Now, root 63, for example, I can do 7 times 9. 9 is a perfect square. 3 and 3 multiply perfectly into 9. So you'll have root 7 times root 9, which is root 7 times 3, which is just 3 root 7. You can write it like this, or you can write it like 3 times the square root, but I find it a lot easier just to write it like this. Now, root 24, well, that's 4 times 6, and that is root 4 times root 6. And remember, you always have to make sure that at least one of them is a perfect square, or else you can't simplify it any further. Now, 2 root 45. Now, this actually can be simplified even further, and that's 2 times root 9 times root 5. And that's 2 times 3 times root 5, which is 6 root 5. So always make sure that if you have already a number in front of the root and the actual root itself can be simplified further, that you just multiply the front number. If the number that you have cannot be multiplied by a number that will be a perfect square, then it's probably just like a prime square root and you just can't simplify it any further. So root 11, for example, you cannot simplify it any further, so you just write root 11 as your answer. Also, make sure that when you're simplifying, you simplify fully. So 6 and then root 108. So that's 6 times root 9 times root 12, but root 12 can also be simplified into root 4 times root 3. So you would get 36 root 3, not 18 root 12. So you always need to make sure that you take your last number and make sure there are no perfect square roots that can multiply into this number. A small tip, if you have any numbers that end with 00, always take out 100 first, because 100, the square root of 100 is 10. So it will allow you to really easily simplify. So for example, here you'd get 30 root 6, and it was a lot simpler because I just went ahead and took out the 10 squared, or the 100 squared first. Now you are going to solve 4 practice problems all by yourselves. Now some of them might be prime, like you can't simplify anymore. Some of them might already be a perfect square, so make sure you look out for that first. So you'll have 2 minutes. Did you do it? Let's check if you got the correct answers. So first things first, root 5 is prime. We can't simplify any further, so it's just root 5 as our answer. Root 121, that's actually 11 times 11, so it's 11 squared, which means 11 is just your answer. For the next one, I can go ahead and take out 4 times root 45, and then that would be root 4 times root 9 times 5, which would give us 6 root 5, once we simplify and take out all the square roots. And for the last one, you can go ahead and start by taking out 100 and then times 20, root 100 times root 27, and that would be root times 9. So root 27 can be simplified to 9 times 3. So you'll have 10 times 3 and then times root 3, which is 30 root 3. Congrats, you made it to the end of this video. Whether it's you need help with this concept, you wanted some extra practice, or you just want to review, I hope you learned something or got some extra practice in. It'd mean the world to me if you subscribed and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I post a brand new video. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. It just tells me if I need to change anything. And if you have any suggestions for any of my future videos, you can always leave those comments on my discussion page. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye!